Sixth grade, happy Friday in history class. We're going to be taking on lesson 3 today, chapter 12. Um, Last couple days we've been talking about the downfall of the Roman Empire and how it was split into pieces between the Eastern and the Western. Eastern becomes the Byzantine Empire and Constantinople. The Western stays in Rome, falls apart much earlier. Today we'll continue to talk about those things. We talked about a lot of the reasons, especially on Wednesday, about the downfall of it. Today we'll pick up and we'll get into lesson 3 here. And it says this, let's learn about this Byzantine Empire. The essential question is, how does geography influence the way people live? At the height of its power, the Byzantine Empire united people on 3 continents. Its systems of laws and its strong leadership helped the empire flourish. 3 continents sounds huge, guys. It's not that big because obviously it's right on the border between Europe and Asia, and then go around the corner a little bit south and you hit northern Africa. So that's how you get the 3 continents. Here we go. After the Roman Empire was divided in AD 395, the eastern half eventually became known as the Byzantine Empire. At the height of its power in the AD 500s, the Byzantine territory extended west to Italy, south to Egypt, and east to the Arabian border. Number 1 in your notes, first of all, and then, guys, there's your 3 continents already. A variety of peoples lived within the empire's border. Greeks made up the largest population. Egyptians, Syrians, Arabs, Armenians, Jews, Persians, Slavs, Turks also lived in the empire. Under the Emperor Justinian, the laws improved, the arts flourished, and the empire grew dramatically. So, guys, it's obviously multicultural. It's awesome when you start to think about that. Now, this is common all over the world today. Almost every country is going to have a mixture of people because we can travel so easily, but impressive back in the day. Constantine moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to the Greek city of Byzantium and renamed the city Constantinople. The new capital thrived. By the AD 500s, multicultural Constantinople had become one of the world's most advanced cities. Number 2 in your notes. Constantinople's location was a major factor in the city's success. 1. It was located on a peninsula between the Black Sea and the Aegean Sea. The city's excellent harbors attracted fishing boats, trading ships, and warships. So it's on a peninsula, good for trade. Because of its location at the crossroad of trade routes between Europe and Asia, Constantinople became the wealthiest part of the Roman Empire. So it's on trade routes, another great reason that it's going to make a ton of money. It's also number 3 in your notes. Constantinople was also easy to defend, number 4, of why Constantinople was an awesome location. Why? It's lying on a peninsula. So the city was protected on 3 sides by the sea, and a large wall protected it on the 4th side. Number 4 in your notes. So they built this city, guys, and they could defend this city. They had huge walls built all the way around the city. So if you tried to come in by the sea, you couldn't get off your boat and onto shore. You tried to get off your boat and onto a wall. And so it wasn't easy. Later, a huge chain was strung across the city's harbor for greater protection. Surprise attacks were not easily carried out on Constantinople. So I had this chain, guys, so a boat couldn't sail past the chain. And then if I wanted the sailing ships in here, I would simply lower the chain to the bottom of the seafloor. And then when I wanted to protect it, boom, chain comes up, boats run into that stuff, guys. Caused all kinds of problems. Brilliant, brilliant plan, easy to defend. Constantinople at first resembled other cities in the Roman Empire. The New Rome, as it was called, had government buildings and palaces built in the Roman style. The city also had an oval arena called the Hippodrome, where chariot races and other events were held. So, guys, they had like a coliseum to it. So you got number 5 in your notes, but you can see how Constantinople is kind of copying the city of Rome. Rome influenced the political and social life of the Byzantine Empire. Emperors spoke Latin and enforced Roman laws. Many wealthy Roman families traveled east to the Byzantine Empire and lived in towns or on large farming estates. Similarly to how things were done in Rome, the government gave the empire's poor people free bread and entertainment shows. Remember, bread and circuses. It's still happening, guys, as they're working through that. You got number 6 in your notes with political up here as we started this paragraph. Over time, the Roman influence on the Byzantine Empire faded, while Greek influence in the area increased. Number 7 in your notes. Most Byzantines spoke Greek, and Byzantine emperors and officials also began to speak Greek instead of Latin. The ideas of non-Greek peoples like the Egyptians and the Slavs also shaped Byzantine life. Still, other customs came from Persia to the east. All of these cultures blended together to form the Byzantine civilization. So it's kind of awesome how that works, guys. They're starting to speak Greek. Extra credit, your New Testament is written in Greek. Okay, so they weren't speaking Latin at that time, guys, because they were in the eastern part and Greek was still the major influence. So on the top of your page, write down New Testament written in Greek. Between AD 500 and AD 1200, the Byzantines developed one of the world's most advanced civilizations. Number 8 in your notes. They preserved and passed on Greek culture, Roman law to other people. As you will learn, they also brought Christianity to the people in Eastern Europe. That's going to be chapter 13, guys. We're going to talk about the influence of Christianity on the Roman Empire. All right, let's talk about probably the most famous Byzantium Empire, besides maybe Constantine, is Justinian. Justinian ruled the Byzantine Empire at the height of its power, so Golden Age time. A skilled general and a strong leader, Justinian ruled from 527 to 565. He governed with supreme power, number 9 in your notes, and controlled the military and all of the legal decisions made within the empire. Many historians view Justinian as the greatest Byzantine emperor. I love it. What a guy. A little picture of the guy. Roman mosaic, nicely done. Justinian's wife, the Empress Theodora, was a beautiful, intelligent, and ambitious woman. Number 10 in your notes. She participated actively in government and helped Justinian choose government officials. Theodora helped Byzantine women win more legal rights. At her urging, Justinian changed Byzantine law so that a wife could own land. If a woman became a widow, her land would provide the income she needed to take care of her children. So you can see Justinian's wife is doing some awesome things. Okay, guys, you can see I might have chopped a letter, so maybe you want to fix that and get some extra credit as we work our way through that. Continuing on with the lovely Theodora. Theodora showed her political wisdom during a crisis in 532. When angry taxpayers in Constantinople threatened the government, Justinian's advisors urged him to flee the city. Continuing on. Theodora, however, told her husband to stay and fight. According to one Byzantine historian, Theodora told Justinian that she would rather die as an empress than escape and live as an outlaw. Here's the quote. May I never be separated from this purple, which is her royal color. And may I not live that day on which those who meet me shall not address me as, we probably use the word empress here, as mistress. In other words, give her the title of royalty. If now it is your wish to save yourself, O Emperor, there is no difficulty, for we have much money, and there is the sea. Here are the boats. However, consider whether it will not come about after you that you have saved, that you would gladly exchange that safety for death. For as for myself, I approve a certain ancient saying that royalty is a good burial shroud. In other words, let's stay and fight. I would rather die a queen or an empress than run away. I don't want to do that. I would look back after I ran away and lived as an outlaw and say, man, I wish I was still queen, or I wish I had fought. And so she talks her husband into staying. Taking her advice, Justinian stayed in the city, fought back. His army crushed the rebels. By doing this, Justinian was able to restore order and strengthen his power as emperor. So people gave him even more respect, guys, because of that. That's number 12 in your notes. Just a great example of everything they did. Both of these two had a huge influence on the laws that are going to be written, and a lot of it comes down to it. Uh, those of you that have your book and you can see the little story on the side between Justinian and Theodora, they weren't supposed to marry. They were different social classes. And so Theodora came up in a lower social class. They actually changed the law so that they could be married. And you can see why she would do those things. Hey, I knew what it meant to be in a lower social class. Now I know better. I'm not going back to that. I love it. Learning from life. One of Justinian's lasting contributions to future civilizations was in the area of law. Shortly after he became emperor, Justinian realized that the empire's laws were disorganized and confusing. So he ordered a group of legal scholars, who was headed by Tribonian, to create a simpler and better code of laws. 13 in your notes. The group's new legal code became known as the Justinian Code. The code helped officials and business people better understand the empire's laws. Throughout the centuries, the Justinian Code has been the basis for the legal systems of almost every country in the Western world. Hint, hint, guys, us. Okay, so we want to make it simple and honest. That's number 14 in your notes. Justinian, along with other Byzantine emperors, was interested in arts and architecture. The emperors ordered the construction of churches, forts, and government buildings throughout the Byzantine Empire. Number 15 in your notes. Among the hundreds of beautiful churches and palaces in Constantinople was the church called Hagia Sophia. You can see the inside of the Hagia Sophia today. It's more than 180 feet above the ground, so just an absolute huge building back in the day. Okay. Hagia Sophia means holy wisdom. Number 16 is in your notes for that one. Under Justinian's orders, nearly 10,000 workers labored in shifts to build the church. Upon its completion in 537, the domed church became the religious center of the Byzantine Empire. The interior of the Hagia Sophia contained walls of polished marble and beautiful gold and silver ornaments. This unique building is still standing in Istanbul today. So it's absolutely beautiful, guys. If you read the description here, it says the dome of it is 180 feet. For more than 1,000 years, it was the largest cathedral in the world. We've built bigger ones now. When the Ottoman Turks conquered Constantinople in 1453, the cathedral, which was a Christian church, was converted to a mosque, which is the name we give to a church building for Islam. So anytime you hear a word mosque, that's for the Islamic faith. Cathedral is for the Catholic faith. Church is for the Christian faith. Synagogue is for the Jewish faith. So guys, we just have names for their buildings. Finishing it up. Numerous mosaics also decorated the interior walls of the Hagia Sophia. Mosaics are patterns or pictures made from small pieces of colored glass or stone. We've been looking at them for 2 chapters now, guys. Popular in Byzantine Empire, most mosaics showed figures of saints. So you're at number 17 in your notes. What's a saint? A saint is a Christian holy person. Same thing we have for our definition in catechism class, guys. A saint is a holy person, somebody who's been sanctified, made holy. Now, slight difference is most of these people think saints need to do something awesome. We don't believe that, guys, but we simply believe you need to have faith to be considered a saint. Other mosaics, such as the one at the beginning of the chapter, honored Byzantine emperors. In addition to the arts and architecture, Emperor Justinian also concerned himself with education. Learning was highly respected in the Byzantine culture. In Byzantine schools, boys studied religion, medicine, number 18 in your notes, law and arithmetic, grammar, and other subjects. Some were schooled by private tutors. Girls did not generally attend schools. They received their teaching at home. So get a good base. Justinian wanted to restore the Roman Empire and bring back the glory of Rome. Led by a general named Belisarius, the Byzantine army was strengthened and reorganized. Number 19 in your notes. Instead of relying on foot soldiers, the new army used cavalry, which are soldiers on horses. Byzantine cavalry wore armor and carried bows and lances. Lances are long spears. Between 533 and 555, 22 years, the Byzantine military conquered territories that were once part of the great Roman Empire. These territories included Italy, parts of Spain, northern Africa. They also defeated the Persians, which increased the security of the eastern borders of the empire. However, the conquests of Justinian's army were short-lived. During the mid-500s, a deadly disease, known to historians today as Justinian's plague, swept through Asia and Europe. The plague killed millions of people, including many men in his army. The loss of so many soldiers severely weakened the empire's ability to fight wars, guys. So you got number 20 in your notes, just a bad luck. It's like today when we lost people from the pandemic, guys. It's the same thing. So this is costing millions and millions of people their life, weakens everything, opens the door. And then we're going to get prepared for next chapter. In addition, the Byzantines did not have the money to support an army large enough to defend against the Persians in the east and protect the lands in the west. Most of the western territories that Justinian conquered were lost after his death. How it finishes up in 21. We're setting the stage for the new forces coming in that we'll talk about in chapter 13. One of the greatest forces that's going to change the Roman Empire, guys, is Christianity that we'll talk about. Okay, that brings us to the end of lesson 3. You got your worksheet that goes along with it that you can answer those questions. And then, guys, on Monday we'll take the test with it. So to clarify the things, you have a test sitting in your Friday packet. You can start working on it if you want. I will print you a new one and have it in Monday's packet. So you're going to get the same test. It's just going to get bumped to Monday that you had on Friday. If you want to get started on it because you want to use your notes to help you with it, you would obviously have to get started on it this weekend and save it until Monday, because all your notes are going to get handed in on your packet here as we work our way through that. Okay, so I'll print you a new test. If you want to throw that thing away, feel free to. Be ready for the test on Monday. Have a great weekend.